Hi, myself, I'm R.BHUSHAN. Welcome to IAS Current Affairs. Editorial. It is today 26th of September 2019. The Hindu editorial. Different piece in different parts. Unlike IT, it would be a mistake to look at the biotechnology sector through the lens of the employment generations only. This article was written by Vinay Pandya. India is among the first countries to set up a specialized agency for the development of research and human resources in biotechnology sector. More than 3 decades later, it is imperative to ask: has the biotechnology sector lived up to its promise, or it is a Fox optimism? More importantly, is the sector poised to stand shoulder to shoulder with, if not BETI, the IT sector, which is creating jobs for the future? One needs to be beyond the traditional indicators such as the number of institutions formed, students and scientists are trained, and the number of the patients filled to judge the sector's performance and its impact on the economy and society as a whole. Modern biotechnology research is expensive, it requires a highly trained and skilled workforce, access to excessive instruments. For most of the high quality research output has come from the handful of the institution with better scientific infrastructure. The rest, which forms the bulk of the research publications, it's a mediocre quality. This is primarily due to the publish of the Paris culture that incentivize numbers over quality. Over the years, the focus of research has slowly shifted from fundamental to applied research. Why has India not produced another Jagdish Chandra Bose or G. and Ramchandran, despite the biotechnology research budget growing several folds? The fruits of the applied research will only come when we start investing in basic research without asking for the quick returns, while accounting and increasing the share of the funding in basic research. The government should encourage and incentivize the private sector is substantially in the specialized research compared to the developed economies. The United States biotechnology research in India is mainly funded by public exchequer. Unless the private sector starts supporting applied research and engages with the academic institution, the innovations in applied translations biotechnology will minimal fill a specific issue. Let us look at the creations of the human resource and jobs in the biotechnology sector in India. Unlike its IT sector, a large pool of the English speaking workforce, low wages of the scientists compared to the developed economies, and the sizable institutional research base have not helped create that. There may be several possible reasons. Biotechnology research often requires access to laboratories with a high and scientific infrastructure. The supply of excessive chemicals and the reagents with the minimum shipping time between the supplier and the user, and the disciplined work culture and the documentation practice due to regulatory and intellectual property filing requirements. Additionally, unlike the products and solution from the IT industry, biotechnology products and solution require ethical and regulatory clearance, making the process long, expensive, and cumbersome. As the nature of the work in the biotechnology sector is specialized, most jobs are filled with the experienced and skilled scientists, leaving the demand for young and experienced ones in the global marketplace. Having a large number of young professionals hungry to get work at a meager wage, coupled with the need of large corporation in the West to get a work done cheaper, created some of the large IT companies in India advantage China. However, the biotechnology industry, the labor one went to China. Unlike India, China has many more labs with the best of the scientific infrastructure, each with a more number of skilled human resources trained in regimental work culture, and trained to practice rigorous documentation. Chinese students and scientists outnumber Indians nearly 5:1 in most of the American university in the life science biology related to disciplines. A booming economy, and higher science budget coupled with a flexible hiring system have made Chinese university and the research labs attract many overseas Chinese scientists. The government needs to make the process of hiring in our university and the national labs simpler and flexible, not necessarily provide more salary to attract the bright overseas Indian scientists. Last, let us look at innovations, entrepreneurship, and technology creation. Unlike the IT sector, the biotechnology sector requires years of experience in domain access of labs with a sophisticated instrument, sustained and long-term funding to innovate. The government has been supporting biotech and entrepreneurs initiative through the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council (BIRAC) of the Department of Biotechnology to support innovations ecosystem have resulted in impressive outcome. impressive outcome. Impressive outcome market today moving beyond this, however, will be require a different strategy, and unlike standing up the mature biotechnology-led innovations and economic ecosystem, two successful hotbeds of the biotech innovations, Boston and Silicon Valley, 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 Boston and Silicon Valley in the US may provide us some clues, a roadmap, along with the availability of the funding, infrastructure, and skilled workforce. The presence of the top-notch research institution and university in the vicinity make these two places among the most attractive location of the biotech startup companies anywhere. Unlike the IT and e-commerce space, that ideas for biotechnology companies are initiated as scientific research labs, while their parent academic institution work as a feeders of intellectual property. Often technology is incubated, refined and tested for the use in academic labs before it's spun out. Therefore, and unlike IT sector, a sustained innovation and product development model in the biotechnology field without enriching the academic institution is not possible. The government is very encouraging and promoting entrepreneurship, but the culture of institutions and scientists to be entrepreneurial will take time. This will require a flexible policy in the institutions of the all scientists incubate startup companies in their labs while retaining their positions. Second, the government should let scientists from the research institution and university take up late join the industry for a fixed period. Similarly, the government should relax rules to appoint researchers from the industry in faculty position with the freedom to reach, participate, and take a student. The academia in the industry linkage will do the much require communications and the understanding of the problem at both ends. Without a sustained effort in encouraging and promoting science-driven innovation in our academic institution and robust academia industry collaboration, biotechnology-led innovation will not aid national's economic growth. The future of biotechnology is bright in India. However, sector is not going displace the IT sector anytime soon in employment generation. Discoveries in biotechnology may help us solve some of the pressing societal issues of part-time clearing up the rivers, producing the life-saving drugs, feeding our growing population with the nutritious food, and helping us clean air we breathe. Therefore, it will make a mistake to look at the biotechnology sector through the lens of the employment generation, the need for the use of artificial intelligence-based tools and the applications of big data in the biotechnology with leverage India's strength IT and move biotechnology innovations faster and market. Till then India needs to do things patiently and work on the right side of the critical and regulatory boundaries. Thank you so much to watch my program. Wish you all the best and good luck.